Now, better late than never. Today, I'm looking at the Citizen Soyosa. Now, this watch has been around YouTube for about a year, but I haven't seen any on the one that I'm reviewing here, and that is specifically the rose gold and stainless steel with the black dial. I've seen a lot of the colorful versions of it. I've even seen in a store the colorful versions, and you know what? I'm just sick and tired of pastel colors, and I want something classy, so that's what I chose. Now, this watch was purchased with my own hard-earned dollar, so I'm going to give you guys the most honest review I possibly can. I can tell you right off the bat that I was super surprised with how good this watch is, especially for the price point. Now, I've seen these things range from $250 to $450. I picked mine up on Amazon for $280. So if you can find it for under $300, I think that you're getting possibly the best bang for buck. Now, just right off the bat, I have heard so many people kind of hype up this watch as being better than the Dassault PRX.
I've got some quotes for you. Are you ready for this? The Citizen Soyosa is the new king. King of what? One of the most appealing budget watches. Budget? It's £300. If you translate that to dollars, that's $400.
Better than this, better than that. It's an alternative to this, alternative to that. I really don't care about any of that. In fact, in the hands-on review, I'll talk about the fact that I will put this up against Dassault PRX in the future because I have a Powermatic 80 here on the desk for review in about 1,000 subscribers because that is my 15,000 subscriber giveaway, is that Dassault. So I will do a video comparing this Citizen with this Dassault. Also, I want you guys, and I ask you guys later in the video, to recommend a watch with an integrated bracelet similar to this, that I can compare it with these two. Now, let's flip the camera around and dive right into the hands-on review. And here is the one I chose to get. This is the two-tone rose gold and stainless steel. This is going to be my first gold watch. I know, crazy, I've done over 450 watch reviews on this channel and videos, and it's just funny because I haven't done anything that's in gold that I personally own. Now, I did do like the Casio gold, but that really doesn't count. This, isn't, of course, true gold. This is plated. This is coating, but it looks just great. This just elevates. When I first saw this, I thought, man, this is going to elevate almost anything that I wear. So I am, of course, like I said in the intro, late to this game when it comes to this Citizen watch. And it is an integrated bracelet, and it's kind of been played out, but I wanted to give this a shot. And the reason I gave this a shot is because I Like Watches, Gary from I Like Watches, did a review on one, and he asked the question, is this watch as good as everybody says that it is, or is it just all hype? So I decided I was going to get one myself. Again, I wanted something slightly dressier, so I went with the rose gold and the stainless steel, and I can tell you that I've been happy with it so far. Now, I actually wore it to work today. I'm a police officer by trade. I took it off halfway through the shift because I didn't want to scratch it up for the review. I knew that it could be scratched up, and I wanted to give you guys the full frontal of this watch. So let's go ahead and talk about what I have here in my hand. Of course, everybody knows this. This is the Citizen Soyosa, and this case diameter is going to be 40 millimeters in diameter. So honestly, it fits rather largely, and I'll give you an example of why. Let me go ahead and pull out my calipers here on the fly. Let's go ahead and get this turned on. Let's go ahead and make sure it's zeroed out. The lug to lug on this, and this is a integrated bracelet, fits more honestly at almost 51 millimeters. So this watch does fit kind of large on the wrist. We're all used to 40 millimeter watches, especially in 2023, coming on 2024, fitting slightly smaller. Most of the lug to lug widths of these watches have been 46, 47, 48 millimeters, normally not over 50, and this one is over 50. So the presence on the wrist is quite large, but they do it quite nicely with this integrated bracelet. Now, the case is 316L stainless steel, and it has two different types of finishing. It has high polish along the sides here, and it has a beautiful brushing along the top. Now, the beautiful brushing along the top looks really fantastic with that integrated bracelet, which has the gold along the high polished bezel here, and it comes down to a center link that's high polished in that rose gold, and then you have a brushed stainless steel on the outside of the links, high polished on the outside, which matches the high polish. But the issue is, as you can see here, it becomes a fingerprint magnet. The bracelet is quite comfortable for a integrated bracelet, and one of the things that I do like that they did was they used now I don't like the fact that Citizen used this press clasp, old school, but it is far more comfortable than something like a butterfly clasp when it comes to micro adjustments, because you can see here it has 3 different levels of micro adjustments, which is nice, which means it's going to fit on your wrist a lot better than other watches that are integrated with their bracelets. This is sort of the pain of an integrated bracelet, but Citizen's like, hey, we're going to do kind of a mixture between a standard, oyster style bracelet and an integrated bracelet like this. Honestly, I think it's quite nice. The crystal that covers this dial is a sapphire crystal, which is nice. And I know that not only is this a sapphire crystal, but the Cyclops eye just above the 3 for the date window, we'll check that out in just a minute, is also sapphire. Now it does have an open case back to display the Miyota 8210 movement in the back. Not sapphire, that's mineral glass, but at the price point that you'd see this at, you really wouldn't expect it to be like a sapphire sandwich. Now, the price of this watch is a little pricey, but when it comes to Citizen watches, it's right on point with other Citizen watches, especially something like the Citizen ProMaster Diver, which ranges from $250 to $450, depending on if you get it with the depth sensor. So this comes right in the middle at about $280 on Amazon on sale, which is where I got this. I've seen these as high as $380, as low as $250. It just depends on the model that you pick. This one was $280, and I think for $280, you're getting quite a lot of watch. Now, Citizen has a long history, it has a well-known name, and it's not something like Pagani design. The dial is done quite nicely in a matte black. Well, it's not really matte black. It has some kind of sheen, almost a sunburst, but it's really hard to describe. It has applied indices all the way around. It has double batons at the 12 and the 6, single batons all the way around, except at the 3, which has a date window with that Cyclops eye. The Cyclops isn't that great in the fact that it doesn't magnify like a standard Rolex, which is 2.5. It's more like 1.5 or 2, but it kind of does its job. Inside, like I said, is a Miyota movement. Sadly, the water resistance on this is only 30 meters, so it's more like a dress watch, and it doesn't have a screw down crown. It's a simply pull crown. Pull it out once and you can adjust the date there. It's a little difficult. You got to pull out from underneath right here. Pull it again and you can adjust the time. And now I want to adjust the time to kind of show you how the date ticks over. It reminds me, it's reminiscent of something like an NH35 if you collected lower end watches, and the fact that it doesn't have a quick change date. Let's go all the way around. You can see it starts at about 11 o'clock, slowly starts ticking over, and then just at the 12, it ticks over. Now that you can see that Cyclops clear of the minute hand, it's not quite 2, maybe it's 2. It doesn't really fill the entire window. They could have done a little bit better, but it is sapphire, which is nice to see. Now, some people complain because the Miyota 8210 is only 21,600 vibrations an hour, so it's not a high beat movement. And some people say that the second hand can kind of have a jump tick, which is sort of like it doesn't have a smooth tick. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it kind of jumps. I really haven't had any issues with this watch so far, and I've had it for about a week now. Any gripes I have about this watch is extremely minimal. I'll toss it on the wrist and let's go over the pros and cons. Now on my 7¼ inch wrist, you can see that the footprint of this watch is slightly larger than the 40 millimeters that you'd expect it to be. My wrist is 7¼ so it fits, I think, perfectly. However, if you have a smaller wrist size, it's going to fit slightly larger. If you have a larger wrist size, then it's going to fit slightly smaller, maybe more like a 38 or 39. Honestly, I think it looks pretty great. I love the rose gold of this, and it seems like a more expensive watch than it is. When it comes to watches similar to this, to me, the presentation on the wrist, just wearing it, seems like a watch that's worth thousands of dollars and not just hundreds of dollars. Citizen did a really great job, especially in the details of this watch. Again, not a big fan of this clasp. They could have done better. However, everything else is done perfectly. Sapphire crystal, automatic watch, a Citizen brand, which is not a Pagani design. It's not an XDAO. It's not one of those weird Chinese brands. It's a Japanese brand with quite a lot of heritage. The brushed finishing is done perfectly along the top. Again, the rose gold is done perfectly. I love the fact that the rose gold bezel contrasts the brushed stainless steel, which flows into the bracelet. A lot of people don't like the integrated bracelet. I think this thing is really, really great. I can't wait to compare it to the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 that I have here on the desk. I'll do that in probably 1 or 2 months, closer to 14,000 subscribers, because that's going to be a giveaway watch. So I will compare them both in a future video. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about another integrated bracelet watch that I should compare this to. Other than the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80, which watch do you think I should compare this to alongside the Tissot? And I'll see what I can do about getting one of those watches. Now, what do you guys think about what this watch offers? I think for $280, it's really hard to beat a Citizen automatic. Now, for years, I have watched prices fluctuate high and low from their automatics to their eco drives, and I think $280, under $300, I'd say, is pretty good for an automatic watch, especially one of this caliber. I think that if I were to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best watch I've ever had in my hand and 1 being the worst, I would say this is a good 6 to 7. It offers a lot of punch, especially for the price point. The finishing's on par. The macros on the dial were perfect. I didn't see any imperfections. I like the fact that it has like a matte sunburst. It's not in your face. I also like the fact that that two-tone look is something that I've never had ever. Again, I mentioned this in the video, but I've done almost 500 videos and I haven't had a two-tone watch ever that I personally have owned. This is the first one, and I can tell you that I love it. And I love the way it looks. I love the way it can be dressed up and dressed down, and it just feels way more, it feels 10 times more expensive than what I paid for it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, leave a comment down below. I'd really love to hear about the third watch in the integrated bracelet, kind of review comparison of these other two. So leave a comment down below. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It really does help the channel. And you could win that Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Also hit the like button because again, helps the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next one.